After my last video on moratorium, few of you asked me if moratorium is the same as liminal space. It's a great question because both of them, they are transitional state. However, they are not the same. Moratorium is just like internal pause. Meanwhile, liminal space is always triggered by external shift. Today I'm going to explain you the difference, share with you some real life examples, and explain you how to deal with liminal space, which is one of the hardest, but if you can deal with it, one of the most transformative one. So stay with me to the end of this video. In psychology, Erik Erikson used the word moratorium to describe the period where the identity goes into suspension. You feel disconnected from your life, not because of external events, but because mostly you start to questioning yourself. You feel this void. From outside, everything sounds normal. You do your routine. However, you start questioning your identity. Is it what I want? Is it where I want to be? Is it who I want to be? These questions are great because they are very much transformative and a sign of growth. But liminal space is different. Anthropologists use the word liminal space to explain that in-between space, the rites of passage. But in real life, liminal space comes from radical external changes and shift of identity, like divorce, chronic disease, that completely changes your capacity and sense of self, forced migration, loss of job, even menopause or postpartum depression. Unlike moratorium that feels like numbness, liminal space is always charged with emotions, anger, anxiety, fear, and sense of losing control. It is like standing in between two spaces in a hallway where you don't know which door to open. It's very lonely. Your old identity is gone and the new one still to be discovered. Liminal space doesn't only stay in your head, it also appears in your body. Short-term liminality, usually you experience restlessness, insomnia. It's just like night before a major event. You know that it's going to happen, but you don't know what will be the end result. Chronic liminality starts with headache, fatigue, digestive system problem, and even skin rash, which is one of the hardest one. It's just like amplifying this sense of being in between and completely being disconnected from life. There is also life stage liminality that women mostly suffer from it, like having child, menopause. Science explains it in this way. When your brain is stuck in uncertainty, cortisol rise, and your nervous system doesn't understand to be prepared for a danger or relax. And so it goes to standby. It's an exhausting situation. And that's why liminal space feels much more heavier than moratorium. Dealing with liminal space is not that easy. There is no one recipe that everyone can use and fits everyone. But here are few transformative basic way that you can deal with liminal space. Accepting the uncertainty and name it. It helps you to understand that the uncertainty is not covering entire your life. Because usually in liminal space, We are completely disconnected also from daily life. It affects everything. But it's very important to separate that specific area of your life that is affected by liminal space from entire being. After that, celebrating a small and manageable routine can help a lot. Simple ritual, cooking, baking, walking, stretching, going back to normal routine of life. It can be very helpful to bring back your nervous system to help you to go through life. Celebrating a small win is very important, like finishing a book, cleaning one corner of your home, and going through a week with celebrating a small routine and pay attention to daily life is a way to go back to daily life instead of letting the liminal space cover entire your life. Staying open to new experiences is very important, because sometimes what pulls you through is to discovering something completely unexpected. I'll give you an example. A friend once was telling me that during the period that she had chronic digestive system disease, and the diet and prescription that they gave her couldn't help her, and she was almost paralyzed and couldn't do the daily routine. And instead of giving up, she started to research on new diet, because the doctors couldn't understand what is the cause of this problem that she has. So what she did is going through 16 different diets in 1 year by researching. She was telling me that it didn't help her, but it gave her purpose to wake up every morning, a hope. And eventually, after almost 2 years, she found finally the right diet. And that led her to study nutrition and build a new identity around it. Purpose, not perfection, moved her forward and is very helpful. Engaging in meaningful activities are very important in liminal space. In my clinical experience, people with chronic disease and illness often did better when they were joining activities like writing group, knitting, craft workshops, because when hands are busy, mind is more stable and engaged. Identities slowly start to build through purpose. Meditation and journaling can be very helpful during moratorium, but in liminal space, connection and activities are often much more helpful. Build micro-communities. Isolation makes liminal space much more difficult to deal with. Sharing experiences, even in small circles, creating a small little community for yourself, sharing your experience with others and asking help is very, very important. Because usually liminal space is a very lonely space. So you need to create a community. Allow time. Unlike moratorium, which is more like an internal pause, liminal space is it comes from external radical changes. So the transformation takes much longer to build. So you can't rush it, but you can walk it through with awareness, with activities, with finding a purpose, step by step. So to make it short and sum up, both moratorium and liminal space are uncomfortable. but both are opportunities for growth. I wanted also to add that in this recent time, most of us, or I can tell you, all of us, we are suffering from liminal space problem, with uncertainty, news, not knowing what's going to happen, losing the control of our life. And liminal space, this space of liminality, is becoming a kind of global pandemic. So if you are in this liminal space right now, remember, you don't need to rush it to next chapter immediately. Ground yourself with the small activities, engage in meaningful work, and find a purpose. Micro communities can be very helpful because, as I said, liminal space is a very lonely space. As painful as it is, it can be also very much transformative, especially if you start to share your experiences with others. If you're going through this liminal space and need to share your story, or you need some support, you always can reach me by email. Until next time, goodbye.